the Isles of Scilly, the beautiful archipelago of sandy beaches, shallow waters and beautiful islands. But around the outside they are surrounded by 1,000 jagged teeth and rocks, and each reef and rock has claimed 1,000 shipwrecks. I'm here to bring you just a few of those stories of those wrecks. The Cockney Buccaneer. Todd Stevens in the Isles of Scilly. Another video about cannon sites and old wrecks of the islands. And this week I think I shall bring you the wreck of the Lizzie. That's what we call it. But there might be another story behind it, and we'll reveal that in the video. I found this wreck quite a long time ago. Found it with a magnetometer, and it towed a sonar over the hit. Saw what looked like cannons on the seabed. So went down, investigated, and there was this Elizabethan wreck laying there, and that's how the Lizzie was found. Still don't really know the identification of it, but the media kept calling it the Flying Joan. So I'll tell you about that later on when I'm at home. Now, unfortunately the weather's come in a bit, got a bit of a squall going on now, but I was just going to show you on the chart where this wreck is in relation to the islands. Now, this is St Mary's, Tresco, Sampson, which is in the middle here, right in the middle of the archipelago, in the anchorage. She's about here somewhere. Now, we don't know how she got there because we don't know what ship she is for sure. And when we do get out to diver a little bit later, when the weather clears up, I want you to note that I uncover some timbers on the site, and just note how small they are, because I think this is crucial as to what wreck this might be. Now, I'm going to go and walk the dog, and while I'm walking the dog, I'll try and explain to you what kind of ship this is. Come on, Daisy, come here, come on. Good girl, good girl. See, the weather's come in, a bit misty, but the wreck is roughly where that sailboat is. It's roughly where it is. Now, the media, when they came over to film this wreck, they wanted to know what it was, and we didn't have an identification, but we gave them the choices that we knew, the wrecks, Tudor wrecks that we knew of, and they latched onto the Flying Joan because of its links to Sir Walter Raleighs, which is understandable. Why let her, you know, get in the way of a good story? But they did have a point. But I'm going to try and show in this video what my thoughts are on what this wreck is. Right, the ship itself, the Flying Joan, she was 120 tons, 14 guns. Captain Childy bought the ship. He paid half of the money for it, so he half owned the ship itself. But 14 guns, 120 tons, described as a pinnace, an armed pinnace. Now, this sounds like quite a big boat really, and it's really a frigate. It was a frigate for the fleet, in Sir Walter Raleigh's fleet going to search for Eldorado. In 1617, Sir Walter Raleigh convinced the Crown to finance a trip to the west to look for the fabled city of Eldorado. It was an ill-fated trip really, ended in his demise. So the Flying Joan was one of the ships on this voyage. Now they got into trouble here because they ran into a storm on the first attempt to go to the west, and the storm blew the ships, the fleet apart basically, and one of them ended up in here, another one ended up down the Bristol Channel, blown all the way down there, but yeah, so one of them ended up around Scilly, lost, but we don't know where. That's the fact of it. And that ship was a 14-gun Flying Joan. So why did the media go ahead with the story of the Flying Joan? Well, for one, it was a Tudor wreck lost at Scilly, right period, and two, they thought the fact that the captain got off the vessel and sailed with the fleet again on another day sort of shouts that she got somewhere where they could be rescued, and so came in amongst the islands and sank in the islands, and so they were able to get off the ship safely. That sort of works if you like, but I think the remains that are on the seabed tell a different story. And this means that you've got to believe that this is just part of a much larger wreck and not a small boat of some kind. Well, that's the dog walks now, and it looks like it's clearing up nicely, so hopefully we'll get onto the wreck this afternoon. In she goes, we're on the site. It's only about 15 metres, it's not deep. And it's only a small site, so it's got to be quite accurate with the mark. This is a site plan of the wreck. Most of this is buried. All you'll see is probably the cannons just poking through the surface. This is all that we know that is down there. This is all that was uncovered at the time. There could be a lot more, we just don't know. I know there's a swivel gun off to the side somewhere, but finding it again is going to be difficult, so I probably won't bother. There's also an anchor off the site as well, but I'm not sure that that's related. But yeah, we'll go past these cannons here, we'll have a look over this one, we'll have a look at the carriage wheel, which is underneath this gun here, and then we'll try and uncover some of the timbers, which I'll try and do here somewhere, frame timbers here. This was produced by Wessex Archaeology, by the way, for English Heritage. Okay, we're settled on the site now. We're in the middle of St Mary's Roads, and yeah, we'll get kitted up now and go and have a look. Anyway, that's the problem with diving in an anchorage like this. When you come up, sometimes a fast boat goes by and you saw the way the ladder was bouncing up and down. God, he smacked me in the face. Yeah, the site is more than likely an Elizabethan wreck, because the cannons that were down there were dated by experts as being cast between somewhere like 1560 to 1585, and we had archaeologists also come over to take wood samples of the wooden wreck underneath it, and but these proved conclusive because there was too much teredo worm eating away at the timber with a single sail. And this was winched up and down with a single pulley block, and off to the side of this wreck we found one bronze pulley block, just the one, no more. So it's almost saying, like I said before, it's either part of a wreck with part of the hull and one mast, or it's the whole wreck buried down there and it had one mast, two stern guns, one forward gun. I showed you the guns. Underneath one of the guns I showed you a truck wheel, one of the wheels of the gun carriage. Now archaeologists believe there's more of the gun carriage underneath it. Now this proves that the guns weren't ballast, that they were being used as armament on board the ship. I also showed you the outer planking. I pointed out the timber, and next to that outer planking there was a frame timber sticking up. You'll see the end of it. Now they weren't very big, those timbers, and this is what I think is crucial, because I just can't help thinking that a ship that was carrying 14 cannons built to go across the Atlantic would be that flimsy. I think the timber should be bigger, and this is why I don't think it's the Flying Joan. If you want to learn any more about this wreck, you can read a report by Wessex Archaeology, which was then sent to English Heritage, and they explain in there all the facts and figures. So yeah, that's the Lizzie ? Flying Joan.